Hey everybody, you're listening to the BTW Media Podcast, the show that explores the stories, innovations, and insights for people who love technology and the internet. Welcome to BTW Media Podcast, and I am Faye. In today's episode, we sit down with Eduardo from Vyntelligence at Connected North 2025 to discuss how AI and video technologies are revolutionizing field operation in telecommunications, tackling workforce challenges, and driving the new era of efficiency and safety. Eduardo, thank you for taking the time to speak with us here at Connected North 2025. Could you give us a short introduction to yourself to our BTW Media's audience?
Yes, of course. First and foremost, Faye, thank you very much for inviting me to speak with you. We're very excited to be participating and a part of Connected North 2025. I lead the charge in helping mobile network operators and telcos and contractors become faster, smarter, and safer in their field operations here at Vyntelligence. I've got a huge passion for solving real-world problems, and I believe that telecommunications is a backbone of human progress. So I've been dedicating myself for the last 25 years to this industry, and I see a great amount of opportunity to be able to change the way field operations is done through the power of video and AI.
Yeah, that is good. So as the Vice President of the Global Telco at Vyntelligence, and with your experience helping some of the UK's largest infrastructure providers like Openreach transition to smarter learning and more proactive way of working, we're eager to learn more about the real impact of the video and AI in transforming critical process. So here I provide you 5 questions. So here, the first one, across the industry, we're seeing the growing challenge across the aging field engineer population and knowledge transfer gaps. How is Vyntelligence helping customers reduce dependency on manual labor while still ensuring delivery quality?
I think that is a really good question and a challenging problem even across several industries, not only the telecommunication industry. There's a clear skills gap and a clear workforce gap that is emerging as more and more assets get deployed in the field. There's a growing need to have really skilled engineers to be able to drive those deployments. And that skill set is aging. And also there's a lot of inexperience, which means that your workforce has a lot of variability in terms of the skill levels that exist. We take this extremely seriously in providing support to everybody in the workforce to be able to drive the right behaviors using video and enabling people to be able to describe what they're doing and how they're doing it, to spot those points of the work that require extra support, and then to be able to offer up, using our AI agents, advice on how those problems can be resolved right there in the field. So if you are a junior engineer and you hit a problem installing an antenna, and we can actually see that in the video that you submit, we are capable of basically telling you both, hey, you have a problem in, for example, rigging the antenna, but B, we also can send you a video that trains you up and shows you what good looks like. And that is incredibly important, both as a vehicle and a mechanism to be able to capture the experience of the more senior engineers that can identify what the best practices look like, as well as a way to support the more junior and inexpert engineers to be able to drive their skill set levels up as we serve those best practices up. And of course, the level of automation that we can bring to the table also make it so that you can finish your job faster, quicker, and more effectively. So I think that's the way that we want to contribute to try to solve this skill gap problem.
So what specific practice from the Openreach development do you think are most worth replicating?
I think specifically the capability to be able to reduce the onerous questions that are being asked of the contractors and the administrative tasks that were required, and simplifying that into, we have, I think, about 3 or 4 videos, very short videos that they need to take, and maybe 10 questions, down from about 70 questions that they were asked before, with a lot of pictures that they were needed to submit to be able to submit evidence of the quality of the work. So I think that is a great way to be able to make the administrative task simpler, but also to be able to concentrate the mind of the contractor on exactly what is important in front of him on execution, rather than filling a spreadsheet with answers that may or may not be relevant. So I think that's one of them. But the second one of them is also to constantly create a positive feedback loop where contractors feel that they can do their job faster And they get paid faster as well by having Openreach review the work near real time and are able to determine, yes, this work was done in quality, so let's pay out, let's close out the package. Shortening the time period between the two companies on communication is incredibly important. And it is a digital transformation that I think is making an impact in how these jobs are getting executed.
Okay, so let's move on to next question. In many traditional organizations, rapid digitalization sometimes results in pushback from frontline team or the drop-in user experience. So how has Vyntelligence managed to support both process innovation and improve the NPS scores?
Fantastic. Well, NPS scores would be around customers, okay? I would separate your question into two parts, okay? So you're talking to me about customer NPS, and then you're talking to me about the difficulty of being able to do digital transformation. I think the first insight is that for Vyntelligence and for Vyn as a whole, we put the human being at the heart of what we're doing. Doing digital transformation is not about only the tech. It's not about only the video and the AI. Those are tools to be used to help humans transform the way that they work. And that is the way that we conceive it. We're trying to make the job simpler and faster for human beings. When you're leading a digital transformation effort, a lot of the times you forget that the technology is not the end all be all. Digital transformation is about the right skill sets in people and the right people in the right places, a process that can actually be affected by, improved upon, or made better and simpler, that needs to be adjusted. And then the technology that will support both of those things, both the people as well as the process. Whenever we try to do digital transformation with our clients, we partner with them as a technology firm to be able to drive the behaviors on the people side and to be able to redesign the process to make it shorter and simpler. And I think we try to concentrate on use cases, whether they are the customer connection use case to try to make customer connection simpler and faster, or whether it is simplifying the build and quality assurance process to make some quick wins that can show to people that the transformation is worthwhile. And that is also very important. Now, going on to the NPS side, the way we affect NPS, in particular in the altnet market, we help customers connect faster. Typically, when you subscribe to one of the altnets to provide you service, they need to send engineers to your house to be able to connect you to the fiber network. A lot of the times when the engineers go out, they can't actually do the job because either your house has a physical configuration that might be not standard, or because you want the router in a particular place that is too high up, or they don't have the right tools, or the POP is far away from your house. So what we're doing is we're sending a text message to customers with the operators, and we basically tell you, Faye, you subscribed. If you do a short video, we can get you connected faster. And then you basically have the capability to be able to click a link and do a short video showing this is my driveway, this is where I want the router, this is the back of my house, this is how you access my property. And that information can be then looked at by the operator and decide, actually, I need to send a crew that has a digger because the driveway is too long, or I need to send a crew that has the capability to connect to another POP because the POP that you have is too far away. And what that does is it makes you be able to send the crew once, get the job done once, and you get connected faster, and you're a happy customer. That's how we affect NPS.
So that is why the Openreach customer has been described the recent installation as the best they ever seen.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So let's move on to the next question. Openreach reported a 93% reduction in failed audits and 68% of drop in quality defects. That's incredible. From your vice president level perspective, what's the underlying mechanism behind this leap?
Well, I think the very first thing that is important is the change in behavior of the human beings that are doing the work. Openreach had a very challenge in the right first time. And this is what we call that statistic that you talked about is called the right first time, which is basically the first time that I do something, I should do it right. Yes. Okay. And when I don't, then I have to go back and refix. And that is a costly endeavor. So typically the insight that created Vyn was the fact that in order to be able to drive first time right, the right medium to capture the information is video. Okay. And the reason why, video and voice, and the reason why is because we are using a system called point and say. It's a psychological safety and quality system that is used in Japan for the Japanese railways, but also in the airline industry, pilots use it to engage whatever action they're going to take within the airplane. And more closer to home, you probably have experienced that in the NHS. I don't know if you've ever gone to the hospital and you'll have the nurse and the doctor and any other technician ask you, what's your name? What's your date of birth? Where do you live? And what are you here for? They know already why you're there. They know your name. They are doing this because they are doing an extra check where they call out.
Yes.
They point to the person and they get the person to say exactly so that the rate of error goes down. We use the same mechanism. We tell the individual contractor, show me and describe what you have done.
It's a double check.
Correct. Because the engineer has to make the video showing 360 the installation of a rack, for example, or the LLU unit, in this case for Openreach. They have to describe what they've done. And guess what? The moment that you're doing that, Faye, you are in the moment thinking about what you have done, actually. And when you see that you've made a mistake, you pause, you correct it, and then you show it. Because it takes a really, really special kind of person to show you, talk about, so therefore you have a personal vested interest in what you're showing and show you something that's right. That improvement came down to that innovation of changing the behavior of the contractor. And of course, after that, we kept on adding improvements around reducing the number of questions, making it easier for the contractor to be able to report back. And all of these different things made it so that 100% of the jobs get audited, self-audited by the contractors. And Openreach has now the capability to be able to see the quality of the work and increase tremendously their first time right.
So would you say this technology shaping our behavior or the behavioral change driving better use of technology?
Correct. Yes. Making sure that the work that is being done with quality and with care.
I remember that Glenn mentioned that Vyn has reduced the audit turnaround from 10 working days to 0, allowing the audit to be done on the same day as installation. So what were the key workflow or platform decisions that make such efficiency gain possible?
I think that's a really good question. Thanks for asking that. It actually drove our product roadmap and the way we thought about the solution to think through not only how we can help the contractor perform the job better in the site, but also how we can help the entire value chain collaborate. And so a very big piece of our platform is around collaboration. It's enabling that collaboration between human beings, between people, and between AI. In reality, the way we utilize AI in Vyn is we analyze the video and the speech that has been given in the video. AI then marks things that they get out of that video, whether it is a quality issue or something that AI didn't see that should have been there. We can do that. But then we offer up that conclusion and that set of things to a supervisor that could actually come in and say, review the video and the AI comments and say, this is appropriate, or maybe there's other things that I would add in terms of checks that needed to be done. We make that in a very collaborative environment where you are in near real time uploading the video. AI is doing the work that it needs to do to check everything that is done in the video. And then supervisors or people can actually approve the work right there and then. You don't need to wait for any post-processing. You don't need to wait for somebody to add a lot of stuff into a spreadsheet. You just immediately get the information, immediately are able to review the information, and then take an appropriate decision of whether the job has been completed properly or not. And that is a huge innovation in the industry, to be honest. I think a lot of solutions that look at quality fail in this particular part, in enabling collaboration in near real time that can eliminate that lag that exists in the back and forth of fixing issues.
So another question for you is, do you see remote video audits becoming an industry standard, not just for the quality and compliance, but also as strategic response to the skill gap and carbon reduction goals?
We absolutely believe that remote video audits are going to be critical for every industry actually that deploys assets. Actually, 80% of our customers are not telco customers. They are water, gas, electric, solar. So anybody that is deploying assets and that has a large field operation team that require immediate and instant feedback from the field, not only about quality and safety, but also even about assets and asset conditions. They will have to find a way to be able to collect contextual information from the field. And we firmly believe that way is using video and AI together to accelerate the data collection, the sanitization of that data, and also the ability to be able to then look back on the history of sites and assets and people and everything else. So it should become and will become the standard of play.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. It's really clear that Vyntelligence isn't just driving the technological change, it's shaping the new culture of accountability and performance in infrastructure delivery. So we are looking forward to seeing how these innovations continue to influence the telco around the world. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Faye. And again, thank you very much for inviting me to talk.
Thanks for joining us for another episode.